The silent defenders. The sky above Haven Colony burned with emerald fire as another orbital defense platform disintegrated. Captain Maya Chen watched from the command center's viewport, her face illuminated by the ghastly green glow of destruction. 3 weeks of relentless assault by the Void Dominion had reduced Haven's defenses to little more than scattered ground units and a handful of aging fighters. Status report, Maya demanded, though she already knew the answer. Lieutenant Kovo, a tall centurion with mottled blue skin, looked up from his station. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of extreme stress among his species. Eastern perimeter breached. Sectors 7 through 12 reporting heavy Dominion presence. Civilian casualties, his voice faltered. Mounting. Maya clenched her jaw. Haven had been established as a joint colony between 17 different species, a symbol of cooperation in a galaxy fractured by ancient rivalries and new territorial disputes. Now it stood as the last free outpost in the Orion Spur, with every other world having fallen to the Void Dominion's unstoppable advance. The Galactic Concord's response? She asked, though this too was a formality. Communications Officer Tabitha Reed shook her head. Same as yesterday, Captain. Regret inability to dispatch reinforcements at this time. Maintain defensive positions. Relief efforts under consideration. Under consideration. Maya almost laughed. The Concord had abandoned them, just as they'd abandoned every other world in the Dominion's path. The mighty Galactic Concord, with its 1,000-year history and fleets of warships, had proven useless against the threat. What about Earth? Maya asked quietly. The command center went silent. Earth, humanity's homeworld, had withdrawn from galactic affairs nearly 40 years ago after the Concord had rejected their membership application. The diplomatic dismissal had been crushing, humanity deemed too volatile, too unpredictable, too dangerous to join the civilized species of the galaxy. Earth hasn't responded to interstellar communications in decades, Reed replied. But I sent the distress signal anyway, on all frequencies, encrypted in open channels. Maya nodded. She was human herself, born on a colony world, 2 generations removed from Earth. She had never even seen the homeworld, but she remembered her grandmother's stories, tales of humanity's determination, of Earth's refusal to be dictated to by alien powers who considered themselves superior. Captain, the sensor officer's voice cut through her thoughts. Multiple hyperspace ruptures detected at the edge of the system. Maya's heart sank. Dominion reinforcements? No, ma'am. Unknown configuration. Nothing matching Concord or Dominion signatures. The main display flickered to life, showing a section of space near Haven's outermost moon. Dozens, no, hundreds, of rupture points were forming, each one spilling forth a vessel unlike anything Maya had ever seen. Sleek, angular ships with predatory lines, their hulls of deep midnight blue adorned with subtle silver markings. Are those identification codes? Reed squinted at the display. They're broadcasting in Old Earth Standard. The largest vessel, a behemoth dwarfing even the Concord's vaunted dreadnoughts, moved into position at the center of the formation. Across its bow, illuminated by external lights, was a simple marking. U.S. Defiance. United Earthship, Maya whispered, a forgotten designation from the history books. The comm system crackled to life with a voice speaking clear, unaccented standard. Haven Colony, this is Commander Jackson Hayes of the United Earth Defense Force 1st Fleet. We received your distress call. Hold position. Reinforcements have arrived. Disbelief warred with hope across the faces in the command center. Maya found her voice, though it trembled slightly. Commander Hayes, this is Captain Maya Chun of Haven Colony Defense. We weren't expecting a response from Earth. A brief chuckle came through the comms. We get that a lot, Captain. The galaxy thought we retreated in shame after the Concord's rejection. They were wrong. We've been preparing. On the tactical display, the Earth fleet spread out in a perfect defensive formation around Haven. Maya counted over 300 vessels of varying sizes, frigates, destroyers, cruisers, and massive carriers launching swarms of fighters. Sensors detecting Dominion battle groups moving to engage, Lieutenant Kovo reported, his voice steadier now. Captain Sean, Hayes' voice came again. I suggest you get your people to shelter. Things are about to get loud up here. Maya watched in awe as the Earth fleet moved with disciplined precision to intercept the approaching Dominion forces. The first exchange of weapons fire was like nothing she had ever witnessed. Where Dominion energy lances had torn through Concord shields with ease, they splashed harmlessly against the Earth vessel's defenses. Return fire from the human ships wasn't the standard energy weapons used throughout the galaxy, but some kind of high-velocity projectiles that punched straight through Dominion armor. Kinetic weapons, Maya breathed. They're using advanced mass drivers. The battle unfolded with startling swiftness. Dominion vessels, accustomed to easy victories against outmatched opponents, found themselves flanked and isolated by Earth's smaller, more maneuverable craft. The human fleet moved like a single organism, each ship covering the others, focusing fire with devastating efficiency. Within an hour, the orbital space above Haven was clear of Dominion forces. The ground assault faltered as their orbiting command ships went silent. For the first time in weeks, the skies above Haven were quiet. Commander Hayes requested permission to land a delegation, which Maya granted immediately. She met them in the colony's main plaza, a team of 6 humans in sleek combat armor led by Hayes himself. He was tall, with dark skin and penetrating eyes that seemed to assess everything at once. "Captain Chin," he said, extending a hand in the traditional human greeting. "A pleasure to meet you in person." Maya clasped his hand, still processing the sudden shift in circumstances. "Commander, I don't understand. Earth has been silent for decades. How did you build such a fleet without anyone knowing?" Hayes smiled. "That's a long story, Captain. The short version? When the Concord rejected us, we didn't sulk. We studied. We prepared. We built. While the galaxy mocked humanity's primitive emotions and warlike tendencies, we channeled those very traits into creating the most formidable defense force this galaxy has ever seen. But the resources required." Maya gestured to the sky where Earth's Armada hung in perfect formation. "This would take incredible industrial capacity." "It did," Hayes acknowledged. "When we withdrew from galactic affairs, we didn't stop expanding. We colonized our entire solar system, Mars, the Jovian moons, the asteroid belt. We built shipyards in the orbit of Saturn, hidden from prying eyes by its rings. We developed technologies the Concord deemed too dangerous to pursue." Maya looked around at the gathered colonists, humans, Centurions, Rebellions, and a dozen other species, all staring in wonder at their unexpected saviors. "Why come now? Why help us when the Concord abandoned us?" Hayes' expression hardened. "Because that's what humanity does, Captain. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. The Concord dismissed us as dangerous primitives, but they failed to understand that our so-called primitive traits, our fierce loyalty, our protective instincts, our refusal to abandon allies, these are not weaknesses. They are our greatest strengths." A lieutenant approached Hayes with a data tablet. He studied it briefly before looking up with grim satisfaction. "The Dominion ground forces are retreating." As if to punctuate his words, a brilliant light flashed in the distance, another Dominion vessel attempting to flee, only to be intercepted by Earth fighters. The night sky briefly illuminated with the flash of weapons fire, then returned to darkness. "They mocked humanity's weakness," Hayes said quietly. "Then our warships blotted out their skies. Humanity unleashed." The Grand Hall of Haven's administrative center had been hastily converted into a war room. Holographic displays showed the positions of Earth's fleet, scattered Dominion forces, and the approaching Concord diplomatic vessels. Admiral Helena Reeves, newly arrived from Earth Command, stood at the center of it all, her weathered face illuminated by the blue glow of tactical projections. "The Dominion is regrouping at Proxima Theta," she explained, pointing to a star system 3 sectors away. "Intelligence suggests they're bringing in reinforcements from their core territories." Captain Maya Chun studied the display. After 2 weeks under Earth's protection, Haven was beginning to recover. Defense systems were being upgraded with human technology, and civilian morale had skyrocketed. "How many ships are we looking at, Admiral?" "Conservative estimates put it at over 1,000 vessels," Reeves replied, her voice matter of fact. "Nearly 3 times the size of our first fleet." Commander Hayes, now serving as Reeves' executive officer, frowned. "Can we get reinforcements from the 2nd or 3rd Fleet?" Reeves nodded. "Already en route. But there's a complication." She gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show a formation of ships with the distinctive elegant lines of Concord vessels. "The Concord High Council has dispatched their diplomatic armada. They're demanding a meeting before we take any further action against the Dominion." Maya exchanged glances with Hayes. They ignored Haven's pleas for weeks. Now they want to talk. They're afraid, a new voice observed. Fax, a refugee from one of the first worlds to fall to the Dominion, stepped forward. His chitinous exoskeleton still bore the scars of his escape. Not of the Dominion, but of you. Of Earth. Admiral Reeves studied the insectoid alien thoughtfully. Explain. For centuries, the Concord has maintained authority through the myth of their superior technology and civilization. Fax said, his mandibles clicking softly. When the Dominion emerged and proved that myth false, they retreated rather than risk exposure. Now Earth has appeared with technology that surpasses even the Dominions. You've shattered their comfortable narrative twice over. So they'll try to restrain us with diplomacy where they failed with rejection, Hayes concluded. Precisely. Fax gestured to the holographic display. They will offer terms, concessions, membership in their Concord, anything to bring you under their control and maintain the appearance of authority. Admiral Reeves straightened her uniform. Well, they're welcome to try. I'll meet with their delegation. She fixed each person in the room with a stern gaze. But let me be clear, Earth didn't build this armada to wage war, but we will not be dictated to. Not by the Dominion, and not by the Concord. The Concord delegation arrived with typical pomp and ceremony, 7 representatives from the High Council, each from a different founding species, adorned in elaborate diplomatic regalia. They were escorted to Haven's council chambers, where Admiral Reeves waited with Captain Chin and Commander Hayes. High Counselor Thessalonian, a tall, willowy being with luminous skin, spoke first. Admiral Reeves, the Galactic Concord extends its gratitude for Earth's unexpected assistance to Haven Colony. Reeves' expression remained neutral. Unexpected only because you abandoned them, Counselor. A flicker of discomfort passed across Thessalonian's features. The Concord was formulating a comprehensive response to the Dominion threat. These matters require careful consideration. While people died, Hayes interjected, his voice hard. Admiral Reeves raised a hand, silencing her commander. I believe we all understand the situation clearly enough, Counselor. The Concord failed to protect its members. Earth stepped in. Now you're concerned about what happens next. Indeed. Another counselor, a reptilian drac, hissed. Earth's sudden reemergence with military capabilities of this magnitude represents a significant shift in galactic power dynamics. The Concord proposes a joint operation against the Dominion, with Earth forces integrated under Concord command structure. The room fell silent as Admiral Reeves studied the counselors. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed, a short, sharp sound devoid of humor. 40 years ago, your predecessors deemed humanity too volatile, too unpredictable for membership in your Concord. Now you want command of our fleets. She shook her head. No, Counselor. That will not happen. Then what does Earth want? Thessalonian asked, a hint of desperation creeping into their melodious voice. Justice, Reeves replied simply. Security for all sentient beings threatened by the Dominion. And recognition of Earth as an independent power, neither subject to nor subservient to the Concord. The negotiations continued for hours, eventually reaching an uneasy compromise. Earth would lead the military campaign against the Dominion, while the Concord would provide humanitarian aid and diplomatic support to liberated worlds. It wasn't the control the Concord wanted, but with Dominion forces massing, they had little choice but to agree. As the Concord delegation departed, Maya approached Admiral Reeves. They're still underestimating us, aren't they? Reeves nodded. They think we're bluffing about facing the Dominion's reinforcements. They don't understand what humanity is capable of when pushed. 3 days later, the combined Earth fleet, nearly 900 vessels strong, moved into position near Proxima Theta. The Dominion forces were waiting, a vast armada of organic-looking ships with glowing green energy signatures. Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge of the UES Indomitable, the Second Fleet's flagship and the largest warship ever constructed by human hands. All vessels, Battle Formation Theta, activate Ouroboros protocols. Throughout the fleet, a revolutionary technology came to life, one developed during Earth's decades of isolation. The Ouroboros system created a quantum entanglement field between all human vessels, allowing for coordination at speeds faster than light itself. In battle, it meant the entire fleet could react as a single organism, with no communication lag. The Dominion struck first, their energy lances reaching out across the void. Some found their marks, but Earth's advanced shielding absorbed or deflected most of the assault. Then humanity answered. Railguns accelerated projectiles to relativistic speeds. Point defense lasers created impenetrable screens of light. Fighters moved in perfect synchronization, exploiting gaps in Dominion formations that existed for mere seconds. It wasn't just superior technology, it was superior tactics, forged through humanity's long history of warfare and tempered by the bitter lesson of Concord rejection. From the Haven Command Center, Maya and the other colonists watched the battle through relay feeds. The Dominion's numerical advantage meant nothing against Earth's coordination. Where the aliens attacked an overwhelming force, the human fleet would bend but not break, drawing them in before counterattacking from unexpected vectors. They're using old Earth naval tactics, Hayes explained as they watched. Crossing the T, flanking maneuvers, concentrated fire on command vessels. The Dominion fights like a hive cut off the queen, and the drones falter. Sure enough, as Earth forces systematically targeted and eliminated Dominion command ships, the alien fleet's coordination began to crumble. What had begun as an organized assault devolved into isolated pockets of resistance, easily contained and eliminated by human task forces. 6 hours after the battle began, Admiral Reeves' voice came through on all channels. Dominion's central command vessel neutralized. All remaining hostile forces are in retreat or surrendering. Victory is ours. Cheers erupted throughout Haven Colony. For the first time since the Dominion had emerged from unknown space, they had been decisively defeated. The myth of their invincibility was shattered. In the days that followed, astounding revelations emerged. Prisoners from captured Dominion vessels revealed that the species conquered by the Dominion weren't killed, they were harvested, their neural patterns integrated into the Dominion's biological technology. Each ship was partially alive, containing the enslaved consciousness of thousands. Earth scientists immediately began developing methods to extract and restore these trapped minds. The first successes created a wave of gratitude across the galaxy as species thought lost forever were gradually restored. 1 month after the Battle of Proxima Theta, representatives from 27 species gathered on Haven. Some were former Concord members, others independent worlds, and still others newly liberated from Dominion control. Admiral Reeves addressed them all from a simple podium. For too long, the galaxy has been divided between the Concord's bureaucratic ineffectiveness and the Dominion's tyranny, she began. Earth proposes a different path forward, not a governance structure based on presumed superiority, but an alliance of equals committed to mutual defense and respect for sovereignty. She gestured to the assembled representatives. The Solar Accord will not demand uniformity of culture or submission to arbitrary rules. It asks only that its members stand together against threats to peace and freedom, and that they recognize the inherent dignity of all sentient life. The response was overwhelming. 25 of the 27 species immediately pledged to join. The Galactic Concord, its authority diminished but not destroyed, reluctantly recognized the new power block while focusing on containing what remained of the Dominion forces in distant sectors. Maya found Commander Hayes watching the proceedings from a balcony overlooking the Grand Hall. So humanity finally has its place in the galaxy, she observed. Hayes smiled. Not the way anyone expected. Not even us. He looked out at the stars visible through the transparent dome overhead. When the Concord rejected Earth 40 years ago, they told us we were too warlike, too emotional, too protective of our own. They meant it as criticism. Instead, you embraced those qualities, Maya finished for him, and turned them into strengths. We did, Hayes acknowledged. Humans have always been at our best when facing adversity. When someone tells us something is impossible, we take it as a challenge. Below them, the newly formed Solar Accord was electing its first council. Representatives from Earth stood alongside those from a dozen alien worlds, planning cooperative defense strategies and recovery efforts for Dominion-ravaged systems. They thought no one would come, Maya said softly, remembering the despair that had gripped Haven in those dark weeks of siege. Until Earth's mightiest Armada arrived. Hayes nodded. And that's the lesson the galaxy has learned about humanity. We may not be the most advanced, or the most ancient, or the most politically sophisticated species in the cosmos, he smiled. But when everything is on the line, when hope seems lost and the darkness is closing in, humans show up. The stars glimmered overhead, silent witnesses to the birth of a new era, an era in which humanity had found its voice, its purpose, and its rightful place among the stars. Not through submission or assimilation, but through the very qualities the Concord had once derided: determination, protectiveness, and the unwavering refusal to abandon those in need. They had mocked humanity's weakness. Then Earth's warships had blotted out their skies.